Hello, welcome back. This is Sage and you're watching 𝐊𝐿𝐴 TV live from the Sydney studios. And this is a Stocks in Action show. Let's look at the ASX 200 charter and the stocks that are trending today. On Wednesday, the Australian benchmark index inched lower, led by a fall in the banking shares as concerns regarding a COVID-19 outbreak in the state of New South Wales deepened that call for border closures and curbs on gatherings. And the bottom performing stocks in this index are Woolworths Group, down 11.64%, and IGO Limited, down 2.54%. The index has lost 1.24% for the last 5 days, but sits 1.87% below its 52-week high. And the sectors are mixed. 8 of 11 sectors are lower today, along with the S&P ASX 200 index. Information technology is the best performing sector, gaining over 2%. And notably, the sector is up over 7% for the past 5 days, while investors flocked to growth-oriented stocks. And on that note, let us quickly glance through some significant developments globally. A new cluster of coronavirus has surfaced in the most populous city of Sydney, New South Wales. Latest coronavirus outbreak has nearly hit 50 cases, with 11 new infections reported this morning. The rise in cases in Australia has led to border closures and bans on travel to regional New South Wales from Sydney. That has led to mass cancellations within hours. Tourism operators estimated losses in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Sydney's outbreak ruins the school holiday plans. The new cases of COVID-19 have overshadowed improved global sentiments driven by the assurance from the US Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell on Tuesday that the Fed is not looking to raise interest rates too quickly. The global market is still going through the after effects of the Fed's unexpected projection last week for rate hikes as soon as 2023, which triggered selling in stocks, boosted demand for the US dollar, and led to the flattening of the US bond yield curve. And meanwhile, in the US, the flash US manufacturing PMI Purchasing Managers Index surged to a record high in June of 2021, helping the Wall Street shares to cut the losses short. However, the data revealed that manufacturers are still struggling to secure qualified workers and raw materials, significantly raising prices for both businesses and consumers. And on that note, let's have a look at a few stocks that are under the spotlight today. Beginning with CIMIX companies, Specific Partnerships, CPB Contractors and Ventia, along with other members of the Spark Consortium, have won $4 billion contract from the Victorian Government as a preferred proponent to deliver the North East Link Primary Package, or PPP, in Melbourne. The North East Link Primary Package, or PPP, will provide 3-lane twin tunnels that will close the missing link in Melbourne's freeway network. And subject to the contract execution later this year, CIMIX says it is expected to have revenue of approximately $4 billion across the construction and operations phase. And moving on to the next news, Transurban has announced that it will pay a final distribution totalling 21.5 cents per stapled security, and the distribution will be made up of a 20.5 cents partly franked distribution from Transurban Holdings Trust and controlled entities, and a 1 cent fully franked dividend from Transurban Holdings Limited and controlled entities. This takes the total financial year 21 distribution to 36.5 cents per stapled security, of which 1 cent is fully franked. Transurban will release its full year results for the year ending June 30th on August 9th. And meanwhile, AF Legal Group is in the news today. AF Legal Group has signed a binding heads of agreement to acquire 100% of the assets of Cordos Lawyers. As per the announcement, as for the past 16 years, Berger Cordos has been a leading Melbourne family law firm when they demerged from a national firm. And due to the retirement of the Berger Cordos partnership, Bill Cordos has continued the work and tradition of the Berger Cordos under his firm Cordos Lawyers. The firm has offices in the Melbourne CBD and will merge 6 lawyers into the AFL business, including 3 accredited specialists. Next making the news is Peninsula Energy Limited, who reported the successful completion of its share purchase plan to eligible shareholders. It has raised a total of $2 million Australian dollars from its share purchase plan, and the SPP was announced on the 28th of May 2021. The SPP allowed each eligible shareholders to subscribe up to 30,000 Australian dollars worth of new ordinary shares, subject to any scale back. It closed on Friday, 18th of June 2021 with 600 applications, making over 7.6 million Australian dollars in SPP shares. And the strong demand for SPP has imposed a scale back of valid applications from eligible shareholders. Accordingly, valid applications were scaled back on a pro rata basis and excess applications will be refunded. The SPP shares will be issued by the company on the 29th of June 2021 and these will commence trading on the 30th of June 2021. After the conclusion of the placement and SPP, Peninsula Energy will have a total approximate 996.01 million shares on issue. Moving on now to Arafura Resources Limited, who has announced that it has received firm commitments to raise around 40 million Australian dollars under a placement of fully paid ordinary shares via two tranches at an offer price of 12 cents Australian per share. And the company shared it is also offering to raise around 5 million Australian dollars under a share purchase plan or SPP at the same offer price. And the proceeds, as per the announcement, will be used to start FEED or feed activities at the company's Nolans project and for general working capital purposes. Now moving on to the next big news from Althea Group Holdings Limited announced its successful first shipment of Althea medicinal cannabis products to its local partner in South Africa. And the legal medicinal cannabis industry in South Africa is estimated to be worth approximately $667 million by 2023. The market there represents an enormous opportunity for AGH and initial shipments will provide an early mover advantage. Althea is among the world's leading cannabis-based medicine brands. It has a sizable market share across Australia, the United Kingdom and Germany. And AGH's exclusive distributor in South Africa, 𝐕𝐝𝐞 is a licensed cannabis wholesaler specialising in the import and distribution of medicinal cannabis products in South Africa. The entry into the South African market is a crucial move towards becoming the world leader of cannabis-based medicinal supplies. And meanwhile, Latin Resources Limited also made the news, shared on the 24th of June that recently received results from the first pass reconnaissance rock chip sampling from the Peeper Day prospect within the New South Wales Yarrara joint venture project and has confirmed the presence of gold mineralisation in the area. The company released that a total of 57 samples were collected in the field by Latin's geological team as a part of the first pass reconnaissance mapping exercise, which showed the area was dominated by altered granitic rocks cut through by a stockwork of sheeted quartz veins. And samples were taken from both the veins themselves and the altered wall rock, both of which have returned anomalous gold mineralisations. And according to the company, assay results from the samples, along with the strike extent of the workings, have shown distinct clusters of gold mineralisation. So in total, approximately 30% of the samples collected have returned gold grades greater than 1.0 grams per tonne, with some of the better results from the individually sampled veins. Let's move on to the next big news. 𝐊𝐴𝐳 Limited announced their conclusion of its share purchase plan offer, and the offer was announced to the ASX on the 1st of June 2021. WZR or 𝐊𝐴𝐳 received subscriptions over 10 million Australian dollars for the share purchase plan. However, it elected to maintain its original offer cap of 5 million Australian dollars, and therefore WZR has planned to scale back the share purchase plan applications proportionally to approximately 46% of application value with no guarantee minimum allocation. WZR will issue about 20 million new fully paid ordinary shares to the share purchase plan applicants, and these will be ranked equally as existing shares. The new shares will be issued at 25 cents Australian each, and the share purchase plan complemented WZR's recent placement to sophisticated and institutional investors for raising 50 million Australian dollars. And WZR said that it would use the proceeds of both the share purchase plan and placement to fund loan book growth, technology investment and expansion in addressable markets. And besides that, Pilbara Minerals Limited has some news of its own. It has reported further significant assay results from the current exploration and resource extension drilling of its 100% owned 𝐊𝐴𝐴 project. And PLS targets optimise and grow future pit inventory with its drill program in the underexplored region. Initial results from the program have located zones of high-grade pegmatite mineralisation. And mineralisations have been found adjacent to the historical Althea tenement boundary. PLS has completed 10,158 metres of drilling with an extension to the initial program currently underway. A new near-surface pegmatite domain has been identified, suggesting a lower strip ratio at potential mine pit inventory of the South Pit. And as per PLS, the drilling continues, with 𝐊𝐴𝐴 project being on track for delivery in the September quarter of 2021. The next big news comes in from Acrow Formwork and Construction Services Limited, who have gained as much as 7.1% to reach 0.375 Australian dollars, on track for its best performance since 30th November 2020. And the formwork and scaffolding firm stated its industrial services division's financial year 21 revenue is set to grow by 103% versus last year and is targeted to increase by 42% in the financial year 22. ACF added that it has secured an industrial services contract with the Visy Australia Tumut Craft Paper Mill for a period of 3 years, with the contract expected to generate revenue of about 2.5 million Australian dollars per annum. The stock has hit its highest since the 7th of May 21, and more than 500,000 shares have been traded already, as compared to the 30-day average volume of about 275,000. And that's all for now in today's report. Thanks for joining us, but please stay tuned with Kalkine TV for more live market updates. We will be back with more news on the markets, economies and diverse themes and sectors. Sage signing off.